Hello and welcome to the sports interview. Today I have Drew Weston, a member of the rugby team today, to give us some details about the rugby team and what they expect this season. Drew, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Well, Drew, can you just start off by telling me, how everything's going today? I know registration started and
Yeah,
how
that
it's
was
going.
that was an interesting start because I actually got to register yesterday, and then they told me there was a glitch in the system, so I had to spend last night like rearranging my schedule. So that was interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I know registration can be a frustrating thing for many people, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a student, honor student, anything. It can
Right.
just be absolutely crazy at times. Well, to start off, can you just, we know that you're the president of the rugby team.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just describe, the rugby team and some of the things that you hope to accomplish?
Okay. So the rugby club was founded in 2014. My first semester at Emory and Henry actually was founded by Max Palmer, and he's a senior now. And I was elected president last semester, and it was a unanimous vote. And basically what my job is just to interact with administration, deal with, paperwork and things like that. But yeah, the rugby team has been around for a couple years, and we're going in the right direction, we think. And it's the one thing that I really like about it is that it gave me an opportunity to, excel in a sport again, because I got recruited to Emory and Henry to play basketball. And so my first semester here, that didn't work out, and so I just needed something to do, and I just fell into rugby. And I actually played a little football in high school, so with the contact part of it, it just kind of, and playing basketball too, especially playing post, it just kind of, fell into each other, and that's just what I do now, and I really enjoy it. So,
Can you describe I know you described it some. Could you describe more in detail the process of, like how do you feel about the process of what you have to do and how busy it is overall?
okay, well, the one thing I really like about it is that the players are in charge of it. And so we actually do have a coach, and he's a police officer at the Abingdon Police Department. His name's Tom O'Neill. And but he's more of just like practice and game type situation, like an actual coach would be. But what my job is to deal with administration. If one of our players gets in trouble, I have to speak for them, along with them as well, obviously. And so say we're going to play an away game at Roanoke. Well, we have to turn in papers to Kyle Cutshaw and Brett Sample, who is actually the club sport advisor for the school, and Michael Guess, who has been our advisor since the club was founded, and now he's leaving. So we're actually in the process of finding another faculty advisor. And so we've made a lot of strides this year as far as getting numbers on our team goes, and also we've had we actually had a home game this semester on campus, and we played on the practice football field, and we beat Lynchburg, and it was honestly like probably the coolest thing I've done since I started playing rugby. So
Can you just take us through who do you decide who to play, how your schedule works out and how that all plays out when it comes to rugby?
yeah, okay, so we play in a conference called the Cardinals Collegiate Rugby Conference, since the ODAC, not every single school in the ODAC has a rugby club. But some schools in the ODAC do, and that is who is in our division. So the way the conference is set up is that you have the Champions Cup, the Challengers Cup, and the Developmental Cup. And so we're in the developmental team, since we're obviously not a very old team, but so this semester, the biggest team that we played was the Virginia Military Institute, and that was a learning experience for sure, because they were a very good team. But at the same time, we do play teams in the ODAC that have rugby teams. So like Christopher Newport has a very good team. Another example is Roanoke has a very good team. Lynchburg, Hampton Sydney, people like that. And so we're just at the beginning of each season, we're given a schedule, and that's just what we have to work with. So, and it differs varying on, certain things. But
Are you looking forward to facing any bigger future opponents such as Virginia Military
yeah,
Institute?
so what we're going through right now is we actually have 20 players on roster right now, which is the biggest the club's been since I've been playing. And that's very much a step in the right direction. And so the way that we're going right now is we're hoping to maybe be able to, like, our goal next year would be to win our division, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We actually competed very well with Washington and Lee, who actually won our conference championship. And so up to this point, it's almost been like a learning experience to take victories in the small things, I guess. And but the way that we're looking at next year is we're being very optimistic. We're not really losing that many people. And so our goal next year would obviously be to compete for the conference championship, and we really think we can do that. So rugby's it's a great sport, and we have a lot of good athletes, and I would suggest to anybody it's a great alternative if you can't, find anything else to do. Like for me, I couldn't play basketball or football anymore, and it's worked out very well. So.
Well, as for some of these people that don't understand rugby, they think, oh, it's just another form of football.
Right.
But it's actually a very, very physical
Yeah.
and an intense sport. And, it takes a lot of time and energy, and it can really get you in a lot of shape. I've actually had some people when I was training in South Carolina try to get me to do some rugby. I don't think Coach Newsom would have appreciated that too well.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very intense sport, and you don't have anything to really protect you. Can you describe, what you do for practice and how that routine helps you prepare for each game?
Yeah. So rugby is so you would know in football, different positions do different things. Obviously, a tight end would not have to run the ball in the backfield or things like that. Your main job is to block if you're playing on the line. Quarterback needs to be able to throw the ball. In rugby, it's kind of like that, but it's more of you have to be good at everything. So, for example, the people on the field always switch between offense and defense. It's never, make subs. It's not like football. And you have to be in very good shape. It's more of the one thing that I've learned to do is play smart. So, for example, rugby tackling is very much different than football, where it's more of getting the man on the ground than really trying to, I guess, blow him away or whatever with a tackle. And so it's the techniques that are introduced in rugby that have been in the last couple of years are more for safety. And an example of this in football would be, so the Seattle Seahawks have introduced, Pete Carroll has introduced rugby tackling into their defensive scheme. And he actually hired an old Australia coach to work with his defense to be able to tackle like rugby players. And the main thing that I can say for somebody who wants to get in rugby is you have to be in shape. You really have to be in shape.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, you're constantly running. You're constantly, being chased after. Me personally, it'll probably be new for me because, me picking up a football and running it, I don't think is ever going to happen. I've asked God on a couple of occasions, but, I don't think he really agrees with that too well. And, I'm going to kind of wrap things up right quick with this kind of a two-part question. In the first of this question being, what are your intentions for the rugby team moving forward as it continues to be on this campus? And do any of your players look to play professionally in like Australia, New Zealand, and big rugby sports venues such as that?
Okay, so to answer the first part of that question, what I myself am looking for, and obviously I can't speak on behalf of the team, but what I think we're looking for is just to grow the sport. Because if you really got to know all of us, there's only one person. Max is the only person who has high school experience, and he's from Ohio. And the rest of us just we were athletes who couldn't really fit in anywhere else, and we just found rugby. And I think that that's a great facet of the game that we can all, find brotherhood and enjoy this game of rugby. And so what I want the club to do is just to grow. I want it to be a bigger part of the campus, make home games on campus a thing where people can find solace in the game of rugby like I did. And I can't speak for everybody else, but for me personally, I'd like to pursue rugby outside of college. I know it's a long shot, but maybe I could try out for the Olympic team in 2024 in Los Angeles. I personally would like to enlist in the military post-graduating college, and so, probably pursue rugby, and I'd like to enlist in the Navy, so obviously I'd like to try to do that. But I think that a lot of us really want to play after we get out of school because it's just something that you can do for a long time. and you can make I made a lot of connections. I've made a lot of friends through the sport, so I would recommend it highly to anyone.
Well, Drew, we thank you for having me on the show. That's it for the sports interview. Now we'll turn it over to the sports update, with Andrew McClone.